Welcome to the Legalpreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Sager, founder and CEO of Legalpreneur Inc. As a serial entrepreneur and someone that works exclusively with small business owners legally protecting their business, I'm dedicated to covering common legal issues faced by business owners, providing you with the business knowledge you need to catapult your business's growth and showing you just how some of the world's most elite entrepreneurs have handled these legal and business issues themselves. In true attorney fashion, the information in this episode is not legal advice. This is for informational purposes only, and you should always consult with your attorney before implementing any of the information in the show. Gotta let you know about Dream Bigger. Don't forget, we now have our 2 payment option. You can pick a payment plan for Dream Bigger. We want as many people to be there as possible, and so we're making it more affordable. Make it in 2 payments or 1. It's up to you. That option is still available until we sell out. We do still have some VIP passes. It's probably going to be selling out in the coming weeks. So get your ticket now before they're gone. And we also have our legal protection playbook. $37 to learn everything you didn't know you needed to know about the legal side of your business. You get their 3-part course, which is talking about planning your business, preparing and growing and scaling. 3-part course, plus there are some bonuses in there. One of the bonuses, which is probably the best, I know it's the best bonus, it is a one-on-one call with me to chat specifics about the legal side of your business. I know everybody has a different business, so you have different needs for everything. So we're going to have a one-on-one call, chat specifically about your business. Now, there are limited spots available because there's only so much time in a day. So if you want to make sure you have that one-on-one call with me, go get it now. It's at thelegalpreneur.co. It'll be there in the show notes. Hello there. Welcome back to another episode of the Legalpreneur Podcast. Today's guest is Amy Kiefer of Pursuing Her Purpose. She is an amazing business owner. We were just chatting before we started recording about how her and her business partner really pride themselves on helping women really make a profit. So yes. Amy, thank you for standing true to that. And thank you for joining me today on the show.
Of course. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes. Okay, let's get started. Just tell the audience your story. How did you get to where you are today?
Well, I don't know if any of you can relate, but it is really a winding story. I went to college for exercise science. I became a personal trainer. My goal in life was to be the next Jillian Michaels. Like I thought I was going to be on The Biggest Loser. Like that was truly my career goal. I was a personal trainer in Chicago at a really nice gym. And then I just realized like, okay, wait, is this personal training, you train during really bad hours. So I'm up at 5 a.m. with my first client. I train until 9 a.m. and then there's a big lull because everyone's working. And then I come back from 5 until 10 p.m. at night, truly. And I was just like, I don't know if this is really going to work. I feel exhausted. I feel depleted. So I went back to school for nursing. I became a nurse. And it was there that I became pregnant with our first child. And I just saw I saw how demanding pregnancy was on a woman's body. Like I said, I was a personal trainer. I had an exercise science degree. I had prenatal certification. Like if anyone should know how to move their body during pregnancy, it was me. And I found it to be super challenging. So I thought, we've got to there's got to be a better way. Like women need a clear, safe, effective plan. And my older sister, just so happened to be a woman's health physical therapist. So she specializes in the pelvic floor. She specializes in a woman's body. And so we got together, I called her, and we still laugh today about how easy her yes was because I said, Crystal, we got to make a plan. We've got to make a workout guide. This has to be easier. She just had her first baby too. And she was like, yep, totally agree. Sold. We didn't realize how hard like small business entrepreneurship was at the time, but thank God we didn't, because then we set off on this course. We started that business expecting and empowered together. It's evolved over the years. We're an app now, a workout app for
That's
pregnancy and postpartum
incredible.
women. Yeah,
Oh,
and then along the way, my second and my third business came truly from the things that people were saying. So, what we realized with Expecting and Empowered is a lot of the women, yes, they came to us for physical issues, but we saw the mental load of pregnancy and then early motherhood. And I realized, wow, women need way more access to professionals. So I started a podcast. It's called the Herself Podcast. We interview therapists, authors, everyday women, all of these people to try to help women, get some of the answers they need. The biggest goal, I would say, is that women realize they're never alone. No matter what you're going through, like we have this really, we have this way that we think that we're always the one that's struggling the most, or we're so hard on ourselves. And then you come to realize by talking to a bunch of other people when they're actually open and honest, like, no, we're not alone. Like a lot of people go through the same things that we go through. And then pursuing her purpose, which is the business that I met you through. It's a business that helps women have profitable online businesses. So I had built two with my business partners, but I built two successful businesses. And I was like, okay, I know that me and my business partners have a lot of experience in this department, and we want to help other women have the freedom to do something on their own if that's what they want to do.
that's incredible. I love the twists and turns. You're so right. It's such a winding road. And I wish I would have known about your app when I was pregnant. So my first pregnancy, I I was very, very active and I did CrossFit up until 6 months. And I didn't know at the time, but I ended up having SPD, symphysis pubis dysfunction. And for those that are listening who have no idea what I'm talking about, I would dislocate my pelvis every night in bed, wake up screaming in the middle of the night. There were like my ex-husband literally had to lift me out of bed. Some days I could not walk. And I remember calling my best friend she'd already had 3 kids, and this is my first pregnancy. And I was like, "You never told me about this." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "My pelvis never hurt like that." And I was like, "I can't even walk." And I remember going to the doctor, and she was like, "Oh, it'll just go away after you have the baby." And I could not imagine that just going away. And it did. It magically disappeared. And I've done a lot of research into it since, but that was the worst thing ever, ever. And then I love how you mentioned like the mental health on pregnancy. Like, so with my ex-husband and we have 2 kids, and between the two we miscarried. And I never really had mental health issues, but of course, like postpartum with my first, we miscarried the second, and then the third, she was supposed to be a twin, but we thought we spent a whole month thinking we miscarried. And I was like, forget this, Thomas is going to be an only child. Like, I'm not going through another pregnancy. I'm not like, because pregnancy, like for me now, like I can't do another pregnancy mentally or physically. And then just of course postpartum, like, oh, like kudos to you ladies for putting this together, because I wish I would have known about that back when I was going through my pregnancies, because it is definitely needed.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, so talk to me about pursuing her purpose a little more. I so And you said this came about from people asking for this?
Yeah, that was I saw one of your questions before the interview might be a business tip. And that's exactly the business tip I was going to give is like along the way, all of us get asked about certain things. So people are like, how did you start a podcast? How did you start the business? As entrepreneurs ourselves, we know there's so many questions you have along the way. The legal question is a huge one that people just get so confused. That's what we're trying to help people have more of the answers. And then we have guests like yourself. Like, we know we're not lawyers, but we are a bridge to the lawyer. And then we'll, pair up with you and we'll get a discount to your services, so that, like, we want to put this all together for women so that when they go off and they really want to do something of their own, it's a more clear path. Like, we have systems, we have the experts, we have everything, so that our course really takes the guesswork out of it. And then the most awesome thing, I think, is that you get a community of like 30 other women that are also just starting their business. And so a lot of the things we go through, we talk, as business owners, we're like, half of this is truly mindset coaching. Like, we are telling women, you are enough. You can do this. It's okay that your sister made fun of you, whatever it is. Like, women just have such mindset blocks, and we're working upstream because we've been conditioned to just do what we're supposed to do. Like, people were so shocked when I left nursing because it's such a steady career. Like, it has you're always going to need nurses is the thing that everyone says. So a lot of us are swimming upstream when we want to do something for ourselves. And we just want to make that a little bit easier on people. So we're giving them the resources to follow their dreams.
I love that. And same with me. I remember the first time because I used to work at a big firm, and a big law firm, big fancy job. I thought it was set for life. And I remember the day I left work and I knew I'm not doing this forever. And I remember I called my dad and I told him, and he was like, well, honey, like, if that's what you want to do, like, I'll support you. Literally those words. And then the complete opposite with my mom. I call her and she starts crying. She's like, no, you can't quit. Da, 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 da. And of course, my mom just wanted me to have that job for like the
Right.
status. But even like for me, and I know so many other women that want to leave these quote unquote dream jobs, like, we need that support, because if not, like, we're going to be fighting even more of an uphill battle. But I know for me now, looking at having the 9 to 5, or not even a 9 to 5, like an 8 to 7, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, that's not even security for me. Like, for me, security is knowing I can make however much money I want, not just a steady paycheck. Like, that is not security to me. And so I love hearing that you just keep building and building. And I would love to hear how your significant other reacted. How supportive was he during all of this? I'm very
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah. So for Expecting and Empowered, for my sister and I, we each figured that if we put $3,000 into it, that was enough capital to get us started, because we could do things pretty affordably. We did hire a lawyer right away because we did know that that was really important to us. So I knew the number I needed. And at the time, to our family, like, that was a good chunk of money. So I know my husband, he's very type A, he's very logical. So I knew that I needed to be able to answer any of his objections. So I went in, I like pitched to my husband. I said, okay, here's how much the lawyer costs. Here's how much our designer costs. Here's what like the time demand is going to look like. Here's why I want to do it. Here's why I think this is going to be really successful. So that we talked more. He thought about it. He was a huge supporter from the get-go. Like, we had very small babies, my sister and I. My husband would watch our children when we had to go meet the lawyer, and we joke about it today, because to say that investment has paid off, it's been life-changing for us. So he is so glad that he said yes all those years ago. And then when I come and I'm pitching my second business, the yes was a lot easier because I had that track record. But for those that are, maybe approaching your partner with your first business idea, it's like, understand that who knows what their history is. Like you said, like, he might feel he or she might be very conservative with money. And so this feels like a big risk to them. Like, understand what their possible objections are and come with facts. Like, my sister had to write a business plan just for her husband. He needed to see, like, okay, how is this? What's the through line to get this to be a profitable business? So and I always tell people, it's not wrong for your partner to have objections. I think we hear all these stories. Oh, my partner's so supportive, and that's great. And I know that's people's truths, but it's not wrong for your partner to also be looking at it. We already had a baby. We had responsibilities. We have a mortgage. We have all this stuff. So it's not wrong for him to want to know, okay, whatever their question is, come with the answers.
Yes, and where I like a fault of my own is I didn't come with answers. I was just very, this is how it's gonna be. And
Mm-hmm.
now, like, I see, and I think part of it as well is having a partner with the same money mindset as you. I was of the money mindset of I can always make more money. Like, I will always just make more money. And his mindset was, very scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
And so and doing all the healing work and
Yeah.
overcoming that's when I realized, like, I definitely could have gone about, entrepreneurship a different way with my ex-husband, because he was never supportive, but I think I also never gave him an opportunity to get on board. I was just like, "Oh, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna make all this money and da 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 da." And if I would have came more prepared, I don't know if he would have been more supportive, but I think that would have given him more of an opportunity to be
Yeah.
supportive.
I was going to say, it's all these things that you don't hear about that happen behind closed doors. And it's like,
Mhm.
the reason I love coming on podcasts like this is like, if we can open up the conversation that, like, hey, it's not wrong if your partner probably didn't sign up to blindly follow you through life. And there are people where, like, also I understand there are partners that are like way the other way, where they are just like, their mindset is totally not growth mindset. I just think it's really hard to be at the ages that we are now, because when we got married, I was a nurse and I was planning to be a nurse. So he didn't know that he was signing up for this wild ride that I've taken us on. And I can understand that. Like I said, he's been really supportive, but I just don't think it's like we should expect people to blindly follow us, because who of us does that? I love that you have such a like money mindset like that, because I feel like a lot of women actually struggle with the scarcity mindset.
Oh, I still have plenty of, like, money mindset issues, but I've just always known, I'm like, "Oh, I can just make more money." Like, I don't even know why, I don't know where that came from. My parents are not entrepreneurs, but I'm just like, "I'll just go and make more money." What I'm currently working on is always having more than enough. That is one thing that I am working on. But something that you said that really stuck out was having a partner with a growth mindset. And how old were you when you met your husband? And I know, like, we were not
Yeah.
planning on going down
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
track
Yeah.
of talking about partners, but I think this is so important to talk about.
We met in college, but we didn't date in college, which we both are like, thank God, because we definitely needed to mature a little bit. So we started dating when we were, I think, 24.
Okay. Because I met my ex-husband when I was 18, when I got to college, and very young. And looking back now, I mean, at the time, like, I think absolutely he was my person, but we just didn't grow on the same page. And I think that's so important. And even now, like, dating and, you know, not that I'm like, oh my God, I have to find a partner now, but when I'm dating, I look for not if they're my partner now, but do they have the growth mindset to grow with me? Because I'm not like, I want the world. Like, I'm not going to just be content just having a small business here, a small business there. Like, I want the world and I need somebody on board for that.
I think it's like, if I went back to when we were 27 and getting married, like the questions, the things we should have been talking about, it's like, how do you even ask? Like, do you have a growth mindset? Like,
Yeah,
what are you going to do if I want us to, I didn't even know you don't know to ask those things. Like,
right.
there's
You
just, it's
don't.
learning and evolving. And like, we're lucky if if our roots grow together. And sometimes sometimes it doesn't work that way because we weren't expecting, like, that's life. Life is unexpected. And if a couple is going to be able to weather those ups and downs and changes, or if, we didn't expect to go through all that. So how would we know if we were on the same page?
Exactly, exactly. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I want to touch really briefly on the app. I want to hear like the evolution of that because I know it sounds like y'all have gone through an evolution with the app. I'm sure you didn't just launch an app. So I would love to hear about that evolution.
Yeah. Well, when we started our business, we started with a PDF, and it was, you could use it on your phone, but it wasn't very easy to use on your phone. And it was pregnancy. So week 4 to week 40. And so then the next thing, people loved it. Like, honestly, people were like, this is life changing. And so we got all of this positive affirmation. And then our customers said, we really need a postpartum. Like, we need the same thing, but for postpartum. So Crystal and I made that. Like, it was like everything our customers were asking for, we got to work on. So like the first few years of our business, to say we poured ourselves, because we both had other jobs. That's the other thing about us. It's like, we didn't leave the minute we sold something. Like, we had to, because we both had families, like, we had to make sure everything's covered financially and grow this business to a place where we could leave and pursue it full time. So then, along the way, people kept saying like, oh man, I really wish that this could be an app. But the thing for us is, like, we have always been a debt-free business. We have always used the capital that we have made to improve our products. So we couldn't even we were like, we just can't even go down that road yet. Like, we're not ready. We both had 3 kids during this process. So like, it's been just to say the last 6 years have been busy is an understatement. But then we knew, like, we just kept hearing it. People were like, I wish this was an app. I wish there were videos. I wish this was an app. And so we took what our customer said and we made it. And the crazy thing behind the scenes of businesses is that was a year-long process. Like, we worked with our app developer. We hired that out, but it was a year-long process to get that app ready to launch into the world. And so that was only this past January. So now we're in this phase of business where we just keep improving inside of the app. And I think that's the really cool thing about an app, is that you're constantly able to, like, we're going to add prenatal yoga because people keep saying,
That's
I wish there
awesome.
were yoga.
Yeah.
I wish there were yoga. I wish there were yoga. So anytime your customer keeps saying something, it's not just 1 or 2 voices. It's 100 people saying, I wish there were yoga. You listen and you go that direction. And so our customers have always, like, steered the ship. Like, yes, we're the visionary of, like, when things are going to happen, but we listen to our customers and we give them what they want. And that has been, like, a very sound business strategy for us.
That's awesome. That's incredible. I love hearing that because that's very similar to Legalpreneur and us launching our app. It was just listening to customers and listening to what they wanted. So that is amazing. Oh my gosh. Well, Amy, this has been amazing. I know you gave us your tip already, but is there anything else that you would like to leave the audience with?
Well, I think that what I can impart on people is sometimes we get into this idea that it's all or nothing. And I have never thought that way, and it's served me very well. So, like I said, I was a nurse and I built this business. And so, a lot of people in the industry, a lot of people are just like, follow your dreams, like, do it. And it was like, I couldn't. I had a baby. I had to pay my mortgage. So, but to say that you can build something on the side and then you're ready, like, you have 2 beautiful incomes coming in, and then you can make that transition. So I wish that more women realized their potential and what they could do if they even put, 5-10 hours a week onto whatever they want to build. It's like, you really can build something, and then if you have your partner, you have like more sure footing. You're like, I know this is a proven concept now. Like this is proven. Money's coming in the door and now I can really go full into it. So I really wish that women saw their potential and saw what they could build on the side of their job or their motherhood. And if there's like that little nagging feeling you have of like, I just feel like I'm made for more than this, I think you should listen, because I think that a lot of us are going to regret if we never followed that.
Yeah. I love that. Oh my gosh, Amy, thank you so much for this. I hope that every female, every mother, every non-mother, every woman finds you guys because oh, I know everything y'all have is amazing. So, Amy, thank you so much. And let the audience know where they can find out more about you and everything you have.
Yeah, so you can find us at Pursuing Her Purpose, and that's a podcast and an Instagram account. We have people like Andrea come on. Like I said, I feel like our podcast is the best at really putting ourselves in our listeners' shoes and being like, what do they need to know from a lawyer? Like, we really do it to serve so that we're helping women get one step further.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. And you guys will link everything in the show notes. So go check them out, go listen, go rate, review, do all the things. And we'll see you guys next time.
Here at Legalpreneur, we're committed to providing a supportive legal community for all business owners. I know how scary the legal stuff can be. If you found this information helpful, I would be so grateful if you could share it with a fellow business owner. And quite frankly, it doesn't cost anything to rate, review, or subscribe to the show. Your support helps me reach more listeners, which allows me to support more business owners in their entrepreneurial journey. Have any questions or comments about the show? Feel free to drop me a line on Instagram. I promise I read all of the messages and comments. And if you want to be a guest on the show or know someone that would make a great guest, simply fill out our application form and a team member will reach out if we think it's a good fit. I'll see you in the next episode.